So I'm actually refilming the beginning of the turn here. I filmed the rest of it, but when I went back and looked at the first video I filmed, it was all screwed up. So I'm refilming this one right now. So the Americans in this turn are starting on the Atlantic side of the board by building one new carrier and one new fighter. Okay, again, I'm filming this after the turn's already over, so I'm kind of going back. So one new carrier and one new fighter, plus also one new infantry that they're going to place there. The Chinese just purchased one infantry, and they have already done so, but they will be attacking Kansu. They did attack it. It was successful, but they'll be attacking Kansu with the infantry and the fighter from Singhai. And there was a Japanese fast mover there. In the Pacific, the Americans purchased 2 subs and a cruiser, or sorry, 2 subs and a transport, and they also purchased 2 additional infantry for the military base in the Philippines. So again, I don't have all the money laid out and stuff, but I did before, and again, I'm just going back and reiterating what happened there. So we'll get to the rolling of the Kansu battle, and that's it. Okay, in the battle for Kansu, China's coming in with 1 infantry at 1 and the American volunteer fighter at 3. And the fighter gets a hit. See if the Japanese can defend with their mechanized infantry. They do not, so China takes the territory with no casualties. Okay, in terms of non-combat, relatively simple. One of the fighters from the existing carrier is going to fly off, stay in the same sea zone, and land on the new carrier that's being built. In China, the fighter will land back in Singhai because it's the only place it can land. And then in the Pacific for the Americans, the tactical bomber that was purchased last turn is going to go and land on one of the carriers in Sea Zone 26. So I'll tidy up the board and come back with placements. Okay, in the Pacific, the Americans are going to build their new transport and 2 new submarines in Sea Zone 10. In the Philippines, they will put their 2 new infantry. They're putting together quite the little force out there. China could theoretically place 1 in Kansu, but they're not going to. They're going to place 1 in Singhai, even though both of those forces are going to get killed next turn anyway. And then the Americans on the Atlantic side of the board will have another infantry placed into the eastern United States, along with a brand new carrier and a fighter, and the carrier that was in the sea zone will land, or the fighter that was in the sea zone will land on the new carrier. Okay, in terms of income, the only adjustment that we need to make is that Kansu is now Chinese again. So China goes up from 1 to 2, and Japan goes down from 39 to 38. Okay, so in terms of money, the the Pacific side of the board gets 17 IPCs, but they do have propaganda, so they will get an additional 5 IPCs. So that means they'll have 22 IPCs to spend in the next turn. The Atlantic side of the board gets 35 for the Americans, and of course the Chinese get 2 IPCs, and they saved 1, so they will have enough, assuming they have any land left next turn, they will have enough to buy 1 more infantry. Italy will be up next. Let's see what the Italians do in response to losing Egypt.